Hello, everyone. Excuse me. Inner Peas, Tammy, Gemma. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Inner Peas is already going with number two. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Tammy, I'm going to suck at this. LOL. I don't know much about old Edmund. Ed Kemper. All the questions tonight are about Ed Kemper. Michelina. Good evening. Welcome. Reichard, hello. Welcome to tonight's trivia. So happy to see you too. I like your hair, your new hair color. It looks good. I'm in upstate New York tonight. Well, you stay safe out there. I'm very close to raging forest fire here in eastern Carolina. Kind of freaky seeing the night sky on fire. Wow. I didn't know there was a fire down there. Well, I hope everybody is able to stay safe. Good to be back. I'm glad you could be here, Michelina. We get a lot of. I live between the Colorado the Cascades and the Rockies, so they come together at like a valley, and down in the valley, where they between the two of them are, is where I live. So we get fires around here. Usually it's June, July is when we have them. That we call it our fire season. Um, the fires either break out in the valley and then go up on one of the mountain sides, either the Cascades or the Rockies. It's not good. Croatian National Forest, Croton National Forest lost almost what 40,000 acres. Wow, that is a lot. I'm from Long Island, but been upstate New York as well. Cobleskill. Purple, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Gonna give it about another 30 seconds here, and then we're gonna get the party started. All the questions tonight are about Ed Kemper and relating to Ed Kemper. And it's titled Kemper's Temper to Kill. Cement Shoes, good evening. 10 seconds, and we're gonna get this started. So grab yourself a glass of whatever you're drinking, tea, coffee, orange soda. Settle in and get ready, because here we go. Put the first question up on the screen and get myself in my little box. All right. Denied parole several times. Ed Kemper has not helped himself out one bit, telling the parole board in 2017, release me if you want me to kill again. Even with that said, he is going to be coming up for parole again when? Is it A, 2024, B, 2030, C, 2031, or D, 2057? I'm in bed watching you. It's midnight there. You relax, sweetheart. When is Ed Kemper coming up for parole again? 2024, 2030, 2031, or 2057? E. Good evening, Starfire. Welcome to tonight's trivia. E, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Tammy's going with E, Millennium Falcon. Rockard's going with C, 2031. Tammy, A. Michelina, A. Excuse me. Purple is going to A. If it's a 7-year stretch, I think he's come up for parole 4 times, 5 times, something like that. And he doesn't want to be released. He doesn't know anything else anymore. He just knows the state hospital. E, 1999, as Prince would say. We're going to party like it's 1999. It's a party. Okay, question number 1. When is Ed Kemper coming up for parole? Michelina, you were on to something there. The correct answer is A, 2024. It is every 7 years. If you're denied parole, it is 7 more years from that date until he'll come up for parole again. So in 2024, when he inevitably does not want to be released, and he'll make damn sure that they don't release him, he'll be 7 more years, and then they'll revisit the option of releasing parole for him then again. So you were on to something, 7-year stretch. It is every 7 years until you, or unless you serve out your sentence, which he will never do. He'll never be able to serve out his entire sentence. He is not in prison, by the way. He is an inmate of the Department of Corrections, but he is at the California State Hospital is where he is. He's not in prison, but it's like a prison. They got more security there than they do at some prisons. All right, going on to question number 2. Deemed too dangerous to be sentenced to do time in the state prison, sent back to the only real home he has had for most of his adult life. Ed Kemper is currently at the California State Hospital for mentally ill. Where else did they consider sending him? Was it A, Folsom Prison, B, ADX Florence, C, Marion State Prison, or D, Pelican Bay Supermax? Deemed too dangerous to be sentenced to do time in a state prison, sent back to the only real home he has ever had for most of his adult life. Ed Kemper is currently at the California State Hospital for mentally ill. Where else did they consider sending him? Dollywood. That's good. Dollywood. Disneyland. There you go. It's the happiest place on earth. Disneyland. After 7 years, he has good credit. Well, I guess I don't. I'm not up on how credit histories work. I just know that credit histories are stacked against the average person. That's all I know about it. Not familiar with how credit scores and stuff like that work. I probably should, but I don't. Michelina's going with D. Pelican Bay Supermax. Gemma's going with A. Folsom Prison. Where else did they consider sending him besides the California State Mental Hospital for the mentally ill? Start part. I don't know. D. Mental facility prison. He is very well medicated right now, doing whatever he's doing because it's only 4 o'clock in the evening, at the state hospital where he's at. Dressed him up as a corrections officer at Angola. I've been called mentally ill many times. I'm sorry about that. Deemed too dangerous to be sentenced to do time in a state prison. That's exactly what they said at his sentencing. Was he was too dangerous to be sent to a state prison. But where else did they consider sending him if he wasn't going to go to the California State Hospital for the mentally ill? Question number 2. The correct answer is A as in apple. Folsom Prison. Folsom Prison has its own mental health and geriatrics unit. They're at the Folsom Prison. It is separated away from the other inmates, but it is on the grounds of Folsom Prison. That was the only other place besides the State California Hospital for the mentally ill that they ever considered sending Kemper to. Folsom Prison. Maybe Johnny Cash could have shown up and sang him some songs. But A is an apple for question number 2. Moving on to question number 3. Ed Kemper came from a small family with Christian values. His parents divorced when he was young. He does have siblings, though, who have a history of mental health issues. How many siblings does he have or had? How many siblings did he have or still has? Is it A, 5, B, 8, C, 2, D, 4? How many siblings? Cement Shoes says 2. I guess I better dust in here more. Cobweb came down and almost attacked me. Tammy, C? Maybe? Question mark? Right card's going with C. Get googly eyed too. E1, Joel Osteen. The minister, Joel Osteen. I mean, I'll give you this much. Joel Osteen is one tall individual like Kemper. I don't know if he's the same size as height wise as Kemper, but he's a tall guy. I saw him with who was that? He's an actor. Um, oh man, he was uh, he was in the movie End of the World. I can picture the guy, but I can't now. I can't remember his name. I'm terrible at that. It's like I can picture people, events, but I'm terrible at remembering names. Don't worry, it'll come to me at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll remember then. A praying mantis is chasing my 165 pound dog through my house. Wow. Joel Osteen, I like listening to his preaching, even though I've been told not to. Hmm. Your dog weighs 165 pounds. It's a mastiff, isn't it? I think you told us it was a mastiff. You have two of them. That's a big dog. I wonder how much my sister has a Saint Bernard, and that thing has got to weigh up there itself. It's just huge. She used to have mastiffs, but now she has a Saint Bernard and Great Pyrenees, which are not small dogs. Good evening, Caleb. Must be one badass praying mantis. I looked this up, and he has a half brother too. Can you see the hearts, Will? Yes, I can. A heart, 100, and celebration. Is what the three that I see there. Okay. Question number 3. The correct answer is D as in dog, 4. He has 2 full sisters, and you're right, he does have 2 half siblings from his father's. After his father and mother divorced, he has 2 half siblings, so it's actually technically 4 siblings. He grew up with both of his sisters, who have had, on and off again. They have been in and out of therapy, and they have they didn't grow up in the best household with mom either, and which I'm guessing pretty much messed them all up. D as in Dr. Demento. Right, Cart? You're 0 for 3. Wow. Maybe you'll get the next one right, Cart. I'm sure you'll do good by the time that we're all done with this tonight. I miss Dr. Demento. Dr. Demento on the radio. I know who Dr. Demento is. That's how Weird Al Yankovic got his start. Was on the Dr. Demento show. He like sent in like a mixtape that he had made of him, playing his music, the accordion and something else, and then Dr. Demento actually put him on the radio and started playing his music, and that's basically where he got his start. Interesting little side note, huh? Question 4. Strange families breed strange children. For this question, though, we need to find Ed Kemper's mother's legal first name. Which one is it? Is it A, Clementine, B, Claire, C, Cornwella, or D, Clarnell? Which is his mother's legal first name? I only have one, right, Cart? Oh, I should clarify. Also, for question 3, the reason why it says has or have is because one of his siblings or half sibling or whatever you call him from his father's side, after his parents divorced, one of them is deceased. Sorry. Louise Bundy. clarinet. Hey, applause. Pigeon Mac, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. We are currently on question 4, Pigeon Mac. So you're not too late. Welcome, Pigeon Mac. K Love. Star 5 going with D. Good to see you, sir, in chat. I'm glad you could be here with us tonight, Pigeon Mac. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Strange families breed strange children. For this question, though, we need to find Ed Kemper's mother's legal first name. Which one is it? Question number 4. Any relation to Scrooge McDuck, Mac? It's been not too bad, actually. Hope you're all great. Weekends too. Oh, I've had a pretty good weekend. Thank you for asking. All right. Question number 4. The correct answer is D, as in dog. Claire Nell. But her entire life, she went by the name of Sue. Sue. I don't know how you get that as a nickname or as a name. I tried looking it up online, and William, a nickname for William is like Bill or Billy or Will, but how do or Richard is Dick, but how do you get Sue from that one? It's not on the list for nicknames for Claire Nell. But she went by the name of Sue her entire life. Up until, well, Kemper decided to dispatch her. Okay, question number 5. Contrary to popular belief, Ed Kemper never dreamed of becoming a law enforcement officer. True, he did try to become one. Hanging out with beat officers was fun for him. Where did he hang out with officers at? Was it A, the Liberty Tavern, B, the Jury Room Tavern, C, the Squad Room Bar, or D, the Mugshot Inn, a bar and strip club? Contrary to popular belief, Ed Kemper never dreamed of becoming a law enforcement officer. The fact is, he wanted to become either a law enforcement police officer or he wanted to become a fireman. But instead, his job was with the Department of Transportation. Yeah. They discriminated against him because of his size when it came down to becoming a law enforcement officer. Krispy Kreme. Good evening, Gone Girl. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Chick-fil-A. Where did Ed Kemper hang out with beat officers? In case a beat officer, you may not understand the slang, especially if you're outside the United States. I should give a definition for that. A beat officer is just someone who puts on a uniform and works the streets. It could be a traffic officer. It could be, someone in that capacity. It's not necessarily a detective. You like to hang out with them, and well, when he was out doing his murders, They entrusted him, and they knew he was a citizen, but they became his friends, or sort of, and they would tell him about the cases that they were investigating, and those cases, some of them were his, because he is the co-ed killer after all. He didn't just dispatch his own family members; he dispatched a lot of co-eds, females. Didn't really have a body type or a hair type. He killed people of all ethnicities. He was an equal opportunity, murderer, I guess you could say. My mom's goddaughter is a beat cop. There you go. Wonder if was good at sports. I don't know if he ever played any sports, to tell you the truth, Starfire. Um, Growing up, his mother, I don't think would have allowed him to ever play sports. She was very controlling to him. She made him sleep in the basement, and she locked the door every night to the basement. And the only thing in that basement was just a bed, blanket, pillow. And he wasn't allowed to have any toys or anything there. And the reason why she locked the door was because she said that, or as Kemper related, not her personally, but she did this because she was afraid that he was going to hurt his sisters because he was such a giant, man. But she did things like that, and mentally tortured him over and over again for most of his life, till she sent him off to grandpa and grandma's house. Well, not even 6 months being there, he ended up killing them both. But anyways, Studio 54. Didn't the murder of young teenage Korean girl? Didn't he? Yes, he did. He most certainly did kill a young Korean girl who was a ballet dancer. Um, okay, question 5. The correct answer is B as in boy. The Jury Room Tavern was the name of the place. It was a bar, kind of a seedy bar, but it was a place that a lot of officers went to have a drink after they worked their shifts. It wasn't just beat officers, but detectives went there. All kind, law enforcement, went to the Jury Room Tavern, and he would hang out there with them, and they got to know him, and they, befriended him, and well, after he killed his mother and his mother's friend, he, he took off out of town, and he called one of them up, and he gave up. He confessed to the entire thing. Sal, good evening, Sal, and welcome to tonight's trivia. All right, question 6. In May of 1972, Ed crossed a line he had crossed before. However, by his own account, it was a line he didn't want to cross ever again. He abducted and killed best friends. Who were they? Was it Susan and Kelly, Jeanette and Gina, C, Mary and Anita, or D, Crystal and Ida? 1972, Ed crossed the line. A line he had crossed before. However, by his own account, it was a line he didn't want to cross ever again. He abducted and killed best friends. Who were they? Lemon Pie. Good evening, Lemon Pie. Welcome to tonight's trivia. We are on question 6 right now. Lori Vallow and Mulaney Gibb. May of 1972. In case you're wondering how many times that he had done this, crossed the line and abducted, and killed best friends or multiple people, he did it at least one other time before. And by his own account, recalling the actual event, he killed one, while he made the other one, tied him up and put him in the trunk of his car so he could control them. And then, but the other one knew that he was going to kill the other, and he did it, and he made them listen to their friend being murdered. And it was graphic as it is. I mean, murder is not exactly a not non-graphic. Miss K, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. All the questions tonight are about the serial killer Ed Kemper. I wonder if they have Tinder for psychopaths. Isn't Tinder, or Tinder, isn't that just for psychopaths? Hey, maybe we can hook him up with Letitia. I don't think Letitia is Ed's type. She's too old. Crammy cram. And she still has a pulse, unfortunately. But let's not forget the victim. Poor son. Question 6. In May of 1972, Ed crossed a line he had crossed before. However, by his own account, it was a line he didn't want to cross ever again. He abducted and killed best friends. Who were they? The correct answer to question 6 is C, as in cat. Mary Ann Pasheka and Anita Lachise. I'm probably butchering both of their last names, and I'm sorry for that. But he abducted them both and then killed them both. Mary and Anita. C. That is the correct answer. New brand. Demented donuts. You would hear her voice. She would be dead in 1 minute. All right, moving on to question number 7. What did Ed Kemper spend over 5,000 hours doing at the California State Hospital, in which he said in an interview, "If I wasn't insane before this, I was after doing it"? What did he spend 5,000 hours doing? Was it A, painting pictures of clowns? B, making tiny boxes out of paper? C, recording audiobooks for the blind? Or D, singing the same song over and over again? $5,000 hours doing at the state hospital. Rackard's going with C. Yama A. Pigeon Mac D. C. It seems to have done the same thing for Morgan Freeman. Driven him insane. You can actually, I don't know about if you can do this with an iPhone, but you can change, like on my phone, I can change the voice to Morgan Freeman for when I use the text to speak to text, and you can change like Alexa and stuff like that to different voices as well. I don't know if you can do Morgan Freeman, but you can definitely change it, and you can change the name. Listening to Nickelback, chasing Yugos and mountain lions. Listening to Nickelback would definitely, for 5,000 hours, that would definitely drive you insane. The Animals as in the band, or Mountain Lion Animals. What did Ed Kemper spend over 5,000 hours doing at the California State Hospital? 1 minute left. Morgan Freeman is the Illuminati. It could be. I don't know. I'm not an expert on who's in the Illuminati and who's not. The monkeys. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys. We're just monkeying around. We're too busy singing because anybody on or whatever it is. I used to watch the show when I was a kid. I didn't get to watch a lot of television when I was younger, but when I was in like first grade or somewhere in there. I used to I'd go to school and I'd come home and my mom would take saltine crackers and she'd put butter on them, and then we had two TV trays and we'd sit on the couch and we'd watch Perry Mason, the original Perry Mason detective show, and then she'd always watch like something like the $100,000 Pyramid, or one of those game shows like that. But I was like, goodbye, and I just leave. We weren't allowed to hang out in the house and watch television or anything. You just went and made your own fun. I just walk around town. Sometimes I go fishing. Sometimes I'd walk over to my friend's house. I was like in the first grade. You never worried about where anybody was. You just knew you had to come home when the street lights came on. Used to watch MASH after school. To a bad friend's house. I played with sticks a lot. MASH was a jam, yo. I watched MASH later on. That was a long time. I think it was off the air, and I think it was like in syndication when I first started watching MASH. I used to watch Soap, 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 and then Benson, Good Times, The Jeffersons, Welcome Back, Kotter. I liked Welcome Back, Kotter. I like Horseshack. Horseshack was funny. Hot Lips Houlihan. I played with dirt, with trucks, a lot, even being a girl. Me too. Rocks and sticks. Welcome, So, to tonight's trivia. All right. Question 7. What did Ed Kemper spend 5,000 hours doing at the California State Hospital? The correct answer is C, as in cat. Recording audio books for the blind and visually impaired. He did everything from Stephen King novels to the Bible, you name it. He did everything that they could possibly get for him to actually sit down and record. And a lot of those, audiobooks are still in circulation to this day at the state hospital and in other prisons across the state of California. There have been a couple that have here and there have popped up on eBay, and places like that. I think people stole them, but they've never been released to the masses out here in the public, though. I used to have to take my uniform, do my homework, and be home by the time the streetlights were on. Yep. Now, I mean, I know a lot of kids, especially in my son's age, they never go anywhere. They're inside the house. They never even go outside to play at all, ever. It's like they go to school and they go home and they're inside all day until they go to bed, and then they just repeat. The only time they ever leave is to go from the front door of their home or wherever they live to get on a school bus or in a car. Ed is complex. Hearing him read Carrie would scare the bejesus out of anyone. Anybody? Um, Carrie, yeah. That was. I mean, I like the original movie too, but I was just thinking. I think that'd be a probably with his deep monotone voice, be an interesting way to take in the subject matter. I had to babysit my sisters after school. Me and my sisters we weren't allowed to be at home. My mom ran a daycare at home, and she didn't need four other kids hanging out on top of the kids she already had for the daycare. She had another lady who worked with her for when she had her daycare. But oh God, or The Shining. Yeah, I was thinking of like Kingdom Hospital. That would be or The Watchers. That would be interesting to hear his voice do. All right, going on to question 8. He is a killer. Let's not forget that. He has admitted to killing 10 people, but most likely a couple more. He never admitted to. He is so he is smart. Is he dumb? With no completed IQ test ever completed, no completed IQ test ever completed, that's just wrong. What does the state of California believe his IQ to be at? Now, is he dumb or is he smart? Now, the reason why I phrase it that way is because every single IQ test that they've ever tried to administer to him, he has refused to complete them. So, in order to get this number, they've had to take this partial exam, this partial exam, and this partial exam, and put them together to make one completed IQ test. He loves to play with them, with the doctors and therapists. He plays these little games constantly, just like he memorized the entire exam process to get out of prison, the state hospital after he killed his grandparents. So is it A, between 170, 190, 150 to 170, 130 to 150, or 100 to 120? Is he smart or is he dumb? E, 3.14. Pi. Question number 8. Yes, C, 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 and C, and A. C, 136. Is he smart or is he dumb? A lot of people think that that serial killers, mass killers, and spree killers, people who kill more than just a couple of people. A lot of people think that they're pretty dumb. I mean, it's a dumb thing to do to kill people, but are people who are like Ed Kemper, are they really smart? Or are they dumb? Are they average intelligence? You'd be surprised. Some of them are complete idiots, and others are, well, brilliant. I took the Stanford Binet when I was in the ninth grade. Absolutely no common sense, but I had an IQ was 155. Hmm. They have no walking around sense. I bet the Long Island serial killer is genius level. Did they ever catch the Long Island serial killer? Or is that one of those cases that is just ongoing, that they're always finding more bodies buried out in the in the sand dunes and stuff? Nope. Uh-huh. I'm too afraid to take an IQ test. There's ones where you can take them online, but I don't know how accurate they are. Stupid as stupid does for Forrest Gump. Yep. No, never caught. Hmm. You never know who the Long Island serial killer is. As Purple would say, you never know who's standing next to you. You never know who's going to knock on your door next. They're kind of fun. I like doing the Mensa ones online. I know somebody who's taken, and he was a Mensa member, but then I think he, like, dropped out of the Mensa Society. But the man is he has he's mathematically, superior, like, and well advanced mathematics that would just hurt my mind just trying to describe some of the stuff that they do, that he's able to do in his own head. But the man can't balance a checkbook. He can't pay his own bills. He eats the same thing every single day for breakfast and lunch. It's always the same thing every day, and he has been doing that since I've known him, since high school. And our Doral one, welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Me, I smart. All right, question 8. The correct answer is C as in cat, 130 to 150. They believe his IQ is in that area, 130 to 150. I can eat a whole hot dog. You can? The man that killed Pi Carr was a Mensa member. Really? Huh. The guy that I know that, he dropped out of the Mensa Society, but he every single day for breakfast and for lunch he eats a bowl of cornflakes. A bowl of cornflakes every single day for breakfast and for lunch. You'll see him in the grocery store. He'll have an entire cart of nothing but cornflakes. He'll buy every box that they have on the shelf. It doesn't have to be Post or General Mills or whoever makes cornflakes, the brand name. He will buy everything that they have. If they have a generic version, he's buying the generic version. It's not Frosted Flakes. He won't eat that stuff. He eats just cornflakes, plain cornflakes. Not hard to miss him in the store. Corn, power, brain. All right, question 9. Ed Kemper could have became a lot of things in life if only someone would have stopped the abuse he was subjected to as a child. According to Ed Kemper himself and his one sister, his oldest sister, when did the abuse start? Was it A, age 10, B, age 6, C, age 13, or D, age of 2? Peck, 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 peck. Isn't that how it goes, Inner? Excuse me. Never let him out. Juicy Jules! Juicy Jules is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome, Juicy Jules. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. E, during the sonogram. Purple, D, A, LOL, A. So, you okay? Play Mercury. Welcome, Juicy Jules. When did the abuse of Ed Kemper start? Question 9. In case you're wondering, the abuse, according to Ed and his oldest sister, started off as verbal at first and then became more physical as he got older. They started off as verbal abuse and then became physical as he got older. E, when the mountain lion showed up. Mountain lion. So is going with D, the age of 2. He was a big kid, though. Big. Not like fat, but big, tall. He went through quite a bit, like rapid, like growth spurts. That's according to him, him telling about it, talking about his life story, and about how much bigger he was, and there was like a documentary I saw a while back about his life, and there was actually somebody who had like a school almanac that had a picture of Ed Kemper in like I think it was the 7th or 8th grade. He looked like the teacher. He was that much bigger than every other kid in this class. He's like, I think it was 6th or 7th grade, but he was tall. He looked just as tall as the teacher himself. She was a lady, but hiya. Well, all right. When did the abuse start of Ed Kemper? Again, it started off as verbal at first and then became physical. It started at the age of 6. 6 years of age, according to Ed and to his oldest sister, is when the abuse started. Verbal at first and then became more physical. And in the end, I'm really surprised that he let his mother live as long as she did, according to going by his accounting of how much abuse he was subjected to. I'm really surprised he didn't take his rage out on her first before the grandparents. But at the age of 6. All right, going on to question 10. Ed Kemper has many, many fans. Some are even called super fans by their own account. How many people does Ed Kemper write to monthly? Total number of fans, not just super fans or normal fans. Is it A, 10, B, 25, C, 8, D, 30? This information actually comes from the Department of Corrections. because all of his mail incoming and all of his mail outgoing is screened. So they actually they get to read his mail, his correspondence for everything that is coming in and everything that is going out. Now, again, they cannot read legal mail like where he's communicating between him and his attorney, but they can screen mail if he's writing to people. And that is one of the rights that you give up when you're incarcerated, that your mail may be searched, opened. I can't, I can almost understand him killing his mother, but to use his victim's face for oral smecks is a whole lot of nuts. A whole lot of things. What he did to his mother, he ripped her larynx out after killing her and put it down the garbage disposal. Little bit of Sandra. Little bit of Sandra in the morning. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you're doing well. Starfire is going with C. Excuse me, love Johnny Cash. That ought to shut her up. When they asked him why he did that, why he physically, he killed her, then he ripped her larynx out, and they asked him why he tried to put it down, dispose of it through the garbage disposal. He wouldn't talk about it or elaborate on that. He just kind of changed the subject and went on to something else to talk about. At least in the interview, there's quite a few of them out there, but the one that's the most in depth is him. After he had been, sent back to the state hospital, he just sat down and just talked about everything. Very, articulate individual and expresses himself very well. Spiders love you. That'd be wicked. Ed Kemper has many, many fans. Some are even called super fans. And the definition of a super fan, in case you're wondering, is somebody who not only corresponds, follows, learns everything about the individual, in this case, someone like Ed Kemper, a serial killer, but these super fans collect the memorabilia of that individual, letters, clothing, anything that they can get that brings them more of a closeness to the individual, like Gigi Allen's brother, who runs the Serial Killer Museum in Los Angeles. He writes and corresponds with all kinds of people. And Ed Kemper was at one time on his correspondence list, where he would write to Ed Kemper and Kemper would write him back. I think one of the toolbox killers had an IQ of 170. Ooh. But that is the definition of a super fan. Somebody who goes, they're not just interested in the individual. It's more of like almost an obsession that they're that involved, in the serial killer, their life and what they're doing and how they're getting along. And I mean, there's people that are super fans of sports teams and memorabilia. They collect sports cards and magazines and jerseys and hats and stuff like that, of an individual. It doesn't mean just because someone's a super fan doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them either. I mean, you might look at it and say, well, when someone's a super fan of a serial killer, that's just weird as hell, or it's gross, or it's wrong, or something must be damaged about them. But no, that's not the true case. People are fans of all kinds of things. There was a good portrayal of him on the show Mindhunter. I think I've seen that. Starfire. All right. How many people does Ed Kemper write to in a given month? How many letters? How many fans does Ed Kemper, superfans and regular fans, does he correspond with in a monthly basis? For question 10, the correct answer is A as in apple, 10. He only corresponds with 10 people every single month on a monthly basis. Super fans and regular fans, just 10. He could write to a whole lot more, but I'm sure he's busy doing whatever else he's doing. He is not recording audiobooks anymore. So that's not taking up his time anymore. All right, next question. Question 11. Some killers have triggers that set them off. Ed says he never did have a trigger, but does his former retired psychologist believe he does have a trigger to kill? If he does, which from below is it? Is it A, yes, it's unclear what it is because he lies to the psychologist? B, yes, it's an underlying intimacy issue. Or C, no, he has no trigger to kill. Or D, no, he has a trigger to control and only not kill. The guy that played Wayne Williams was excellent. Hmm. Some killers have triggers that set them off. Ed says he never had a trigger, but does his former retired psychologist believe he does? E, the color pink triggers him. Color pink. I will see y'all later. I have a headache. I'm sorry, Purple. You have a great week ahead. Thank you for stopping in tonight. Sal's going with B, an underlying intimacy issue. I'll take A for 200, Alex. Does Ed Kemper have a trigger? Yes or no? If so, which one is it? Unclear because he lies to him. It's an underlying intimacy issue. He has no trigger, or he has a trigger, no trigger. He has a trigger to control, only not kill. Lawrence Welk, a tiny bubble. A one and a two and a three. Kim, 68. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Kim. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Trigger of the 22 pistol. The 22 caliber is the most common caliber for hitmen. I wonder if Brian Kohlberg is one. I've heard some really interesting things about Brian Kohlberg growing up from former classmates who have spoken out about him. Apparently, he was a pretty he was a smart kid, so put it that way. But shy, reclusive, didn't make a lot of contact, with the other classmates. Didn't take part in extracurricular activities with them. Did some, but not a lot. Sue Klebold. We hated seeing 22 caliber GWSs in the ER. They go everywhere once in the body. Yeah, they ding around, ding, 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 off of the bones. Okay, question 11. The correct answer is B as in boy. His former psychologist and who retired believes that Ed Kemper's trigger is intimacy, an underlying intimacy issue, and that's why he abducts and kills these co-eds was because of that, the underlying intimacy issue. All right, moving on to question number 12. Favorite candy, favorite music. Those questions are easy to figure out and understand. So the next question logically has to be, did he enjoy candy or music while he killed? Yes or no? A or B? Did Ed Kemper enjoy candy or music when he killed? Got one right finally. There you go. A or B? His mommy doesn't seem like the candy type. LOL. Favorite candy, favorite music. Those questions are easy to figure out and understand. So the next question logically has to be, did he enjoy candy or music when he killed? C, he enjoyed pie. I think his mom was a few beans short of a burrito. Oh, she used to one of the things that she used to admonish Ed Kemper, according to him, was um, that he looked a lot like his father, and every day she always reminded him that he looked and reminded her of his father. The mental torture that he said that he went through was, I mean, it was out there. But question 12. Favorite candy, favorite music. Did Ed Kemper enjoy candy or music when he killed? The correct answer for question 12 is no. He did not like any type of disturbance at all when he was killing or afterwards. He would listen to music and when he went back to his place of residency, his apartment, after he would kill, but he would not, enjoy music in the car or wherever he was. So no, he did not enjoy candy or music. And by the way, his favorite candy is Werther's. Yeah, Werther's are his favorite candy. All right, question 13. Sadly, I have to put this question in the trivia. How many people did Ed Kemper dismember, including his mother? Is it A, 10, B, 9, C, 8, or D, 7? How many people, including his mother, did he dismember? Question number 13. B. He attachment issues. B. Little bit of Sandra is going with A, 10. How many people did he do that to? We got A, Starfire, especially where the head attaches to the neck. LOL. Question number 13. Just Jules going with C, 8. Werther's for your mommy issues. He was a member of Chris Watts' Bible study. Safety meeting. Got to have those safety meetings. My wife is a teamster now. After 27 years working in the hospital, she they wouldn't pay her anymore except for a cost of living increase once a year. If the cost of living in our area went up, otherwise no raise at all. And so she left, and now she works in safety and compliance, and make sure that other people on these construction sites and where she works are doing it in a safe manner. But she said that talk about safety meetings, they have 2 or 3 of them every single day, every day that they go to work, Monday through Thursday. Werther's remembers Psychopath Watts, Morphew, most family K. Compliance meeting, hashtag that. All right, question number 13. The correct answer is D, as in dog. 7 out of the 10 victims that they know that he definitely killed, he decapitated, dismembered their bodies after him as part of his kill before burying them or disposing of their bodies. 7 out of 10. Now, they do believe his murder count is probably closer to 13, but they know of at least 10 that he killed. 7 out of 10. All right, going on question 14. It's hard to imagine the rage and temper Ed had. He tried, as he said, to control his temper. He said sometimes, though, he would just black out from it, liking it to days as a child when his mother beat him. As an adult over the age of 18, how did he try to manage his temper and rage? Was it A, smoking weed, B, religion, C, meditation, or D, alcohol? How did Ed try to manage his temper and rage? 4 out of 5 dentists surveyed. Hey, works for me. For you, Kim? Oh, you must have had a couple of days ago. You must have had a great day. It was 420 3 days ago. To each their own. Some people like candy, some people like alcohol, some people like weed. To each their own. Listening to Ethel Merman records. Ethel Merman. What did Ethel Merman do to get into this? I was all up in. What did Ed do to try to manage his temper and rage? I personally soak in a bubble bath with a bottle of wine. If that works, do it. Do it. Juice going with B, religion. A whole bottle, Tammy. Cali Lisa. I'm sorry if I didn't say hello earlier, Cali Lisa, but welcome to tonight's trivia. The joy of cooking always relaxed Dahmer. Oh. And just think, there is a very high likelihood that Jeffrey Dahmer fed other people to people in his apartment complex. He used to make sandwiches for people who lived in his complex, and he also used to make sandwiches and hand them out to homeless people on the street. He very well may have fed humans to humans. Ed Kemper, what did he do to try to manage his temper and rage? The joy of cooking. Yeah, May almost here. Month of May. Not a good time to be eating dinner. I'm sorry, Starfire. So didn't those sandwiches taste off? Yeah, but the descriptions that like one of the ladies who used to live in the apartment complex as Dahmer, she said that they were kind of like they were different sandwiches. They weren't always the same kind of sandwich. Some of them were had like a roasted meat in them, like a pull boy sandwich. Others were like a liverwurst sandwich. They could have been human. Nobody knows for sure. We know Jeffrey ate people. Excuse me. All right. What did Ed Kemper do to try to manage his rage and temper? The correct answer is D, as in dog. He drank, which oddly didn't work. It didn't work. He drank. That's why he went and hung out with officers at the bar, and he would drink at home by himself. It didn't work. But that's how he tried to manage his rage and anger. He drank. This is a great diet plan, Will. He also worked in a candy factory. All right, moving on. Question 15. Terrible parents, no support from his community or friends. No one seemed to care about what happened to Ed as he grew up. So why did he kill his grandparents, his mother's parents? Was it A, they should have been there? B, they condoned the abuse? C, they raised an abuser? Or D, they just ignored it all? Drinking usually makes people violent. That's why there are always fights in bars. Yeah. It lowers the ambition. Mom loved Perry Mason. And I used to watch Perry Mason with my mom when I was just a little guy. A long time ago. I likened Dark Shadows and had Casper doll when little. The Dark Shadow. Liquid Courage. Yep. They gave them underwear for Christmas. Wow. Perry and Perry Mason and Andy Griffin. I don't remember watching Andy Griffin necessarily when I was younger. I used to watch it on was it Nick at Night, Nickelodeon at Night, or whatever it was. It was like I might be wrong about the actual channel, but there was like a channel that we had that was on I think it was on cable, um, and they used to show reruns of of older shows. I used to watch like Dobie Gillis, um, and not Perry Mason, but Gomer Pyle. I like Jim Neighbors. I always thought Jim Neighbors was funny, and he had a hell of a singing voice too. I was a Beverly Hillbillies kind of gal. Oh, I watched some Beverly Hillbillies. It wasn't really my thing. I used to watch like Hill Street Blues and different cop shows. Rampart, um, medical drama kind of like show, but I never watched much television as a child. It wasn't until I was like 16, 17, somewhere in there. I watched TV. Probably watched more TV in that 2 or 3 year period than any other time in my life. And now as an adult, I don't ever watch TV, but I pay for it. Oh boy, do I pay for it all. Adam 12, Streets of San Francisco. All right, question 15. Why did he kill his grandparents, his mother's parents? The correct answer to question 15 is C as in cat. He shot his grandmother first because he wanted to see what it was like. Shot and killed her. Then he calmly just walked outside and sat and waited for his grandfather to come back from the store. When they were interviewing him and they asked him, why did you kill your grandparents? He looked right at them in a deadpan, blank face on his, it creepy as hell. If you ever get to watch the interview of this, he just looks right at the camera and he goes, they raised an abuser and they had to pay for that. Wait a minute. You killed your grandmother because you wanted to see what it was like to kill someone. And then you waited for your grandfather to come home and then you killed him. But you did it because they raised an abuser. Okay. Saturday morning cartoons and Sunday night Disney movies. So. We used to watch the Disney. I used to put it on for my sisters. That was that on Sundays. I think it was, but there was like a Return to Witch Mountain. The Disney movie of the week. But at that time, I was raising my sisters because my mother was MIA. She just flaked the hell out, and she would go months without ever coming home. The only way we knew she was alive was a pizza would be prepaid for and be delivered to the house. So the only way we knew she was alive. Grandma said, "Don't shoot anything," right? But did it anyways. All right, that's 15 questions. Well, wait a minute. That's not it for trivia. There's an extra. There's a bonus question. A bonus Ed Kemper question. Ed has made a lot of arts and crafts at the state hospital. Some of those items have been mugs, plates, spoon rests, even a vase or two. Do you know what he made for an inmate who was dying of cancer? Ed considered this inmate to be his only friend. Very few people know the exact answer. If you search the internet, though, you can find the answer. Use Google, Bing, Yahoo, if that's still a thing. And at the end of the before I close this out tonight, I will tell you exactly what he made. What did Ed Kemper make for his friend in arts and crafts class there at the state hospital, California State Hospital for the mentally ill? Colorado, yep. Got a car, Florida guy on phone totaled my Toyota. What did Ed Kemper make for his friend? He knitted. He's made a lot of things in arts and crafts besides just the pottery stuff. He's made all kinds of things. But what did he make for his friend, another inmate who was dying of cancer, who did not die at the state California hospital for the mentally ill? He died at a hospital. He was transported to the hospital. I think it was a week or so before he died, and ended up dying at the hospital. So he never really got to say goodbye to him. But he made an item for his friend, obviously before he went off to the hospital to die. No idea. He made him a mystery meat sandwich. Oscar Mayer pie with special sauce. He made him a coffin. Tammy, 2 all beef patties with special sauce. Made him a Big Mac. Ed has made a lot of arts and crafts at the state hospital. Some of those items have been a mug, plates, spoon rests, even a vase or two. Do you know what he made for an inmate who was dying of cancer? Well, I hope you enjoyed it, Kim. I hope you enjoyed the trivia night. And we do this every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. An ashtray, a bong, mom. You made him a get out of jail free card. Well, good, Kim. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. All of the topics that I do the trivia on come from suggestions from viewers. So if you have a suggestion, I'm more than happy to take it. So for maybe I can find enough questions on that subject matter or person for another trivia night. Hold the pickles, lettuce, Kemper, don't upset us. Alexa just says he made ceramic cups. Yeah, he made the ceramic cups. The documentary that I'm pretty sure you can probably find it on YouTube. or maybe it's on maybe it was on Netflix. But either way, he made a plate for his therapist, the psychologist who was not therapist, psychologist who retired, and he signed the bottom of it. I can't believe I slept through this. Although I sure mixed up with my dreams. I'm sorry, Caleb. Have a great week, everybody. I know you're tired of him, but do watch trivia. I thought about doing Christopher Watts trivia. The problem with doing Christopher Watts, Sal, is there are a lot of people who, even with the factual information presented to them, do not believe the factual evidence that is presented about the entire case. And it's very polarizing at the same time. But I've always considered doing it. I mean, I used to have an entire file copier box full of nothing but documents through the entire case, but I gave it all to somebody who is planning to write a book about not just Christopher Watts, but is writing a book about family annihilators in general. But Christopher Watts was going to be part of that book. I don't know if they're still working on it. It's been probably a year now since I've talked to them. They don't live here locally with near me, so I don't see them or hear from them all that often. But they're I met them through the website Web Sleuths, not the Web Sleuths YouTube channel, but the actual website itself. I met them through there. The same with Scott Peterson. Scott Peterson's a giant piece of excrement. Do Drew Peterson? All right, ladies and gentlemen. Next slide. Come on. So, how did you do tonight? Did you get 12 to 15 right for an A, 8 to 11, 4 to 7, or 1 to 3? Or E, mountain lion riding in a Yugo while smoking meth? Have you been watching the trial, so? Ivan Millet, mountain lion for inner P's. Lemon pie got an A. Tammy C. You don't have to keep score. This is all for fun, and by putting a letter grade to it is just some people wanted to know how did they do. I mean, I know for some of these questions itself, for the 15, not including the bonus question, which I'm going to give you the answer to in just a minute. But out of the 15, I knew 7. And I've read an awful lot and watched a lot of things about Ed Kemper. I find Ed Kemper to be one of the more fascinating serial killers out there. I don't think I would ever become a super fan or write to him, or collect anything that he's done or made. But I still find him fascinating. And maybe it's the intellect, but it's also listening to him talk. He's very charismatic, a very articulate individual, and that's something that you don't hear a lot of. When it comes to serial killers, a lot of them they're either very standoffish or they don't want to tell the whole story. Where Ed Kemper is kind of like, you know what, I kill people. And if I'm ever released from prison, I'm going to go right back to doing that again. He's very upfront about it. He doesn't want to be released. That's why he told the parole board, if you release me, I'm going to kill again. Don't release me. I don't want to go out there. Because he knows it. At least he's truthful about it. He's articulate and he's happy to answer. Yeah. I've moved up to a D. There you go. I'm watching the Lori Vallow trial and Letitia Stout. I've been following the Lori Vallow trial, but I wish there was video. But I've been listening to the audio of of each day of the trial. Man, I don't know what to say about them. Besides that, they believed in something that was really far out there. And I'm not making fun of just the religious aspect, but their doomsday prophecies and their communication and who they are, and everybody around them just kind of seems like they fed into it. Nobody, just kind of sat back and said, "Yeah, I don't know about that." And those who like Melanie, I think she was a lot more involved than she leads on, and I think she knew a lot more about what was going on than she wants to admit to. I've been meeting the Eatons. I'm just burnt out with these two trials. I can't bear Letitia's voice, right? She was flipping the bird in court. They made it up as they went along to suit them. It was a cult. Yes, Emma was more involved. Yeah, I think so. Along with Zolma, and there are text messages that we have the actual proof of, where her and Lori were talking about, how to get the insurance money, and how they were going to, do this and do that to enrich themselves. I'm like, isn't that premeditation? And why are you not, one of the people that are being brought up on these charges? But she's like, yeah, what do you mean? I think Zolma was definitely more involved in the entire thing that people want to lead on, and say that she was. But anyways, all right. The answer to the bonus question for tonight uh, is Ed Kemper made a rose out of paper and out of clay. It was a combination of two different, mediums mixed together. He made a rose for his friend Theodore Bean, Bene, Bean. I think that's how you pronounce it. Whose nickname was Turtle. He was a smaller man. He was only 4'2", but he was never going to get the chance to go back to a rose garden or smell the roses again. And while he was there at the state hospital, the California State Hospital for the Mentally Ill, that was one of his favorite things to do, was to sit out in the little courtyard where they have flowers. And he loved when the roses would bloom, and he loved the roses. That's all he, as far as Ed Kemper talked about, was he made him a rose out of clay and out of paper. But and then he got cancer, and he ended up leaving the week before he actually died at the hospital itself. He wasn't there at the mental hospital. He went to a hospital and passed away there. So that was the bonus question. Theodore Turtle. Was he a few beans short of a burrito? The voice is the nails on the chalkboard. Yeah. Evil and scary world we live in. It can be, a little bit of Sandra. It can be, but you need to remember, and I tell people this all the time. There are a lot of good people in this world. They just don't seek out the limelight, and we may never actually see or hear from them. from all the good that they do in this world. We have to keep our attention on that. Yeah, there's a lot of evil out there, but there's also an awful lot of good that is being taking place out there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up tonight's trivia night. Again, I thank everyone for being here tonight to play trivia with us. We will be back again next Sunday for trivia night again. In the meantime, the week coming up, I hope that each and every one of you has a terrific week and you stay safe out there. Thank you again. If you see a good person, be a good person. Very poignant. Everyone have a terrific week.